Afternoon. This is the Board of County Commissioners meeting. It is Tuesday, October 4th, 2022. It is 2:02 p.m. I'm calling this meeting to order. We'll start off with the Pledge of Allegiance to be led by Vice Chair Messmer.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next, would you like to do an acknowledgement, sir?
Yes, Madam Chair, thank you. We would also like to start today's meeting with the land acknowledgement. We would like to acknowledge and thank the Indigenous Salish peoples whose elders and ancestors have lived on and cared for the land and waterways of this county since time immemorial, and who still inhabit the area today, specifically the Squaxin Island, Nisqually, and Chehalis people, our sovereign tribal partners. Truth and acknowledgement are critical to building mutual respect and connection across all barriers of heritage and difference. The purpose of this acknowledgement is to disrupt ongoing erasure of injustices done and to remember history as a stepping stone towards healing.
Thank you. Before we move on to the approval of the Tuesday, October 4th agenda, County Manager, will you give an update on the changes to this agenda?
Thank you, Madam Chair. As a result of this the conversation the board had this morning, there were a few items added to the consent agenda. Just for the benefit of the public, in your agenda is to appoint Mr. Gary Klein to the Agriculture Advisory Committee for a 2-year term with an expiration date of October 4th, 2024. Also, another item is to reappoint Mr. Robert McIntosh to the Agriculture Advisory Committee as a farmer member for a 2-year term, also expiring on October 4, 2024. Also, the appointment of Ms. Rose Ponzoja to the Hotel Motel Commission as a member from the Best Western Tumwater Olympia for a 3-year term with an expiration date of October 4, 2025. Also, appointment of Ms. Jenny Phillips to the Hotel Motel Commission as a member from the Hampton Inn Suites in Olympia, Lacey, also for a 3-year term expiring on October 4, 2025. And lastly, the reappointment of Ms. Phyllis Farrell to the Storm and Surface Water Advisory Committee for a 3-year term expiring again on October 4, 2025. And those are the additions based on this morning's conversation.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from the commissioners? Commissioner Edwards?
No questions, thank you.
Commissioner Messmer?
No.
Okay, with that, I'm ready for the approval of the Tuesday, October 4th agenda.
I move to approve the proposed agenda for Tuesday, October 4th, 2022.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Messmer?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Motion passes. Next is the approval of the board meeting minutes from September 27th. Is there a motion?
Yes, I move to approve board meeting minutes from September 27th, 2022.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Messmer?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Motion passes. Today we have a presentation from the prosecuting attorney's office. Before that, I just want to let the public know that we do have 2 public hearings at 3:30 p.m. So if you are here for that, we will be starting those at 3:30. And so we will be pausing the board meeting during that time. Next, I would like to call Christy Peters, who will be presenting on Domestic Violence Awareness Month Proclamation.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is truly my pleasure to recognize Domestic Violence Awareness Month in front of this board today. I have the honor of simply doing the introductions because we have some wonderful speakers to just give the Board of County Commissioners an update of the current statistics, the current state of domestic violence in Thurston County. And so it is my pleasure to introduce to you Dan Hilliard. He is the program manager from a Family Justice Center here in Olympia, but serving all of Thurston County, and also Jennifer Lord. And Jennifer Lord is a senior deputy prosecuting attorney in our office. She is the lead for the domestic violence and special victims teams within our office. So Jennifer and Dan.
Sure. Well, hello, everybody. I have some statistics for you, which I hear that you like very much. So I'm going to dive right into those. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Take it easy on me, though. This is my first week as Family Justice Center Program Manager here at Family Support Center, so I'm a little new to this. One of the statistics that I'd like to bring to your attention is that in the last fiscal year, Family Support Center served at least 350 survivors of domestic violence and sexual assault. 70% of those people, or excuse me, we served 350 folks last year. 70% of those people were DV survivors. I'm sorry, my statistics were a little off on that. So 70% of those folks were survivors or impacted by domestic violence. 60% of those survivors had been strangled at some point in their survivorship. A little piece about our Family Justice Center is we are survivor driven. What that means is survivors get to choose how they access services and when they access services. Another piece of information to have, we began breaking ground on the Landing. That's our new housing space that's being developed. It's across the street from our campus up on the west side of Olympia. That's going to have 62 units, 1, 2, and 3 bedroom units. And that space is going to prioritize domestic violence survivors. Do you have any questions about any of those statistics? Or any questions in general that I might be able to?
Questions? Commissioner Edwards?
No questions.
Commissioner Munzer?
No, thank you.
Questions for me?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Thank you for your time. I appreciate the opportunity to be able to address you and the members of our community through this opportunity. The Thurston County Prosecuting Attorney's Office works in partnership with the Family Justice Center through our Family Support Center through our Family Justice Center program. And so we are able to serve the community through community-based advocacy and through that partnership, those victims who have suffered sexual assault and domestic violence in their lifetimes. I'd like to also address the fact that during the last 2 years of COVID, domestic violence didn't sleep. Prior to those 2 years, domestic violence didn't stop. There was a time when domestic violence captured people's attention. And that time has gone past us. And now, in the vernacular, when we hear domestic violence, it's almost as though it's just a commonplace thing. Oh, it's domestic violence. It's domestic violence. Domestic violence is a community problem. It's a family problem. It's a health problem. The ripple effects from domestic violence crimes are overwhelming, and they affect our community at every level. To provide a few statistics for you regarding domestic violence in our community, our victim advocates from the Thurston County Prosecuting Attorney's Office provided over 4,200 advocacy service to over 980 different victims of domestic violence just so far this year. Those advocates are all grant-funded advocates. They're not advocates that come out of our county budget. And these services that they provide to our victims are immeasurable. The Thurston County Sheriff's Office responded to over 1,200 domestic violence calls so far this year. We're just at the beginning of October. It's incessant. It never stops. And the only way we can make a difference in addressing these cases is by our being relentless in our pursuit of finding ways to hold offenders accountable and working to try to heal families. In our office, between June 1st of 2021 until May 31st of this year, also during the COVID era, the COVID period where it was still intense, domestic violence felony cases that we received, we have 4 deputy prosecutors handling these cases, And these cases range from murder to felony harassment. So Class A felonies to Class C felonies, which are the lowest level felonies. We received 475 cases, and we filed of those 344 cases. Those are just the cases, for the most part, where arrests occurred. We have yet to be able to address the backlog from the COVID cases that came in where arrests did not happen. We're working diligently as an office to try to address those matters. It will take a long period of time to address those. In the domestic violence misdemeanor component of our office, there were 544 cases. Of those, we filed 285. We have one deputy prosecutor handling those cases in district court. And while those cases are misdemeanors, that's where it starts. It starts with a push. It starts with a slap or a spitting, things of that nature. Early intervention in that type of behavior, we believe, can help break this cycle and help our community work towards a more healthy opportunity. An example of how domestic violence affects all of us in our community is a case from 2020. It happened beginning of COVID, in which a defendant named Michael Brower, who subsequently changed their name to Zilla Crowley, shot and murdered their 30-year-old wife while their 4 children were in the next room and heard it. They heard the fight. They heard the defendant screaming into the phone 911 hysterically. They lived way out in the county, and it took a substantial period of time for law enforcement to arrive. In that time period, the oldest child came out of the room and saw her mother lying there, dead on the floor. She was told to return to her room, where she did, and she continued to listen to the defendant screaming and yelling and wailing. And the next opportunity she had to see her mother was after law enforcement arrived, and she peeked out the window and saw her mother on a gurney being wheeled out of the house. It starts with a push. It starts with a shove. The ramifications of this case are incomprehensible. The defendant was convicted after trial, has been sentenced to approximately 23 years in prison, and we have 4 children, 4 motherless children who are community supported. And thank God for the fabulous family that took in all 4 of those children and fostered them throughout the pendency of this ordeal. Fortunately, we have other community members who are interested in adopting all 4 of those children together as a family. But this is the face of domestic violence. While it may not be the most popular news item, and it may be that we've just heard the phrase DV so many times that we don't note it anymore, it's still here. It doesn't rest, and we will continue to work to assist our community in accountability and healing for the cycle of domestic violence. I thank you so much for your time today and appreciate very much the opportunity to be able to address you. Thank you.
Thank you. Christy, anyone else?
So actually, that's all we have for the board today. However, we just want to recognize.
Could you come to the podium, please?
I would just like to recognize that we do have several employees from the teams that were acknowledged that Jennifer discussed, that are victim advocates working with victims every day here in Thurston County, either as an advocate, a legal support staff who has numerous hundreds of calls with these families, as well as the deputy prosecutors. They work very well as a team every day on the issues that Jennifer spoke of. And I hope that the board has the proclamation in front of it. You do? Great. So I just want to say thank you to our staff that is here today, because all of them work hard on this issue every day.
Can we ask them to raise their hand?
Yeah, could you stand up, please? That's awkward, I know, but we want to,
You guys are all, Jeanette, you work on these cases too.
well,
And Prosecutor John Tunine is in the room.
Yes.
I see. Thank you, sir. Thank you all.
I also see that Family Support Center Executive Director Trish Gregory is on via Zoom, and I wanted to see if she wanted to say a couple words.
Hi there, thank you. I actually didn't intend to speak today, but I was just really moved by Jennifer's sharing of information about the family, and we see those types of families every single day. And it ranges from families that are super low income to families that have higher income. And it's just so important that we continue to push forward on this issue and make sure that we're intervening where we can and providing the support to keep people healthy, happy, and safe. Thank you for the opportunity to speak for a moment.
Thank you. Commissioner Edwards?
No, I'm good. Thank you all for being here. Really appreciate it and appreciate your efforts. Thank you, Christy, for pushing this through.
Commissioner Mintz?
No, same. Thank you for being here. It's an important proclamation. Glad we were able to do it.
We appreciate the board recognizing this important month. Thank you.
I'm ready for the proclamation, sir.
Very good. Thurston County Proclamation for Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Whereas the month of October has been nationally designated as Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and domestic violence remains a pervasive issue across Thurston County, the United States, and the world. And whereas domestic violence does not discriminate and touches all communities regardless of age, race, disability, gender identity, or socioeconomic status, and the impact of domestic violence is wide-ranging, directly affecting individuals, households, and society as a whole. And whereas the need for safe housing continues to be rated as survivors' most urgent need. And whereas victim advocates in the Thurston County Prosecuting Attorney's Office provided over 4,200 advocacy services to over 980 different victims of domestic violence so far this year. And whereas the Thurston County Sheriff's Office deputies responded to 1,202 domestic violence 911 calls so far this year. And whereas the Thurston County Board of County Commissioners supports the efforts to promote the safety of victims and others through an increased focus on countywide cooperative strategies and public awareness. Now therefore, be it resolved, the Board of Thurston County Commissioners hereby proclaims October 2021 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month in Thurston County, and encourages all residents to report domestic violence to the Family Support Center or the Safe Place 24/7 hotline at 360-754-6300, adopted this 4th day of October 2022 by the Board of County Commissioners.
Please come to the front for a picture. All of you, please. Please.
We got that Marshall. Marshall does a lot of work with the.
Marshall's always
Yeah.
Marshall's here, I didn't even see him.
See everybody? 3, 2, 1. I'll get one more. Perfect, thanks so much.
Thank you.
No.
Thank you. That will conclude our presentation for today. Next is an opportunity for the public to address the board. Now, we do have two public hearings starting at 3:30. The first one is for in regards to the Habitat Conservation Plan Implementing Ordinance and Fee Resolution. And the second public hearing is in regards to amend the speed limit schedule for various county roads. So we will be starting those public hearings at 3:30. Now, there are some guidelines for public comment. The Board of Thurston County Commissioners welcomes comments from the public. However, there are some guidelines governing such comments to ensure they are appropriate and do not take advantage of the fact that most meetings are televised. The general speaking guidelines are as follows. Please introduce yourself, including the address you reside in the county. Please address the board, not the audience or staff. Please silence your cell phones for those members in the boardroom. Speakers are limited to a total of 4 minutes to address the board. Meeting attendees cannot donate their speaking time to another person. No comments that are lewd and offensive, inflammatory, hateful, defamatory, or discriminatory in nature. Please be respectful. No outbursts of any kind. No comments that are commercial in nature, such as promotion of a for-profit business. All materials provided to the county may be considered public records, subject to public release upon request, pursuant to the Public Records Act, Chapter 4256 of the RCW. No remarks about pending land use permits or similar matters that could eventually come before the board on appeal, and no electioneering. Thank you for your cooperation. With that, we will start with the people who have signed up in the boardroom, and then after we will move on to Zoom. I have 2 employees who were signed up for, and they just said the subject was DV, but I'm guessing they have left. So first person I have signed up is Alexander Messmer.
Good afternoon. My name is Alex Messmer. I reside at 2232 Canner Grove Drive in Southeast and Lacey. I stand before you today as an active duty vet and my wife, and being married to my wife, who is former vet, who's been since placed on 100% disability. In my household, I am the only sole provider of income, and therefore have looked into opportunities provided to those who are 100% disabled and what the county as well as the state provides and help. Currently, I've come into a problem, and this stems from talking to multiple people, not only in county tax assessor's office, but also looking at multiple information pamphlets provided by the state. And it's this: I have the opportunity to serve the United States of America as an Army soldier. My wife also served only in the Navy and the Army, and we have both been provided with the support of the United States and its people. And since with that comes the programs you provide. But one of the programs, which is your county tax relief program that helps veterans who only make below a certain amount a year and can get help and relief, which in our case is almost $600 to $800 a month into county taxes that could help be put back into our pockets to provide for myself, my wife, our newborn, and I just found out that we're gonna have another child. That is big. She cannot work, and we have not been able to qualify for this program for these 2 reasons. One, you must have owned property for 6 months in this past year, and you must make below $40,500. I meet both of these. I meet the second requirement, but I do not meet the first requirement. Now, I've been a part of the Lacey community since 2018. I just recently moved back after being put on TDY down to Alabama for training for military purpose. My clock was almost at its point to where I was able to qualify for the program the first time in 2018, but then I got moved in 2020 for training. Came back, and now my clock has been reset again. This is a big issue for me and my wife because we were hoping to be able to take advantage of the program and use it as it's been placed for people like us who are only surviving off of one income. I don't know exactly how we can work to this together. I'm hoping that the board can help provide some explanation, maybe another way that we can look, whether that's a appeals program for individual cases for individuals, so that way we can allow our veterans, not only myself, but those in the community who are also in the same situation. Thank you.
Thank you. And I see you've provided your email here.
Yeah.
So one of us will be in touch.
Sir, I would assume that you have been working with the assessor's office. Is that your point of contact? Yes. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Michael Stedman, I reside on 37th Lane in Lacey, Washington. Alex is a close friend of mine. So he brought up a lot of these challenges. I said, hey, no better platform than the county platform, because I believe every federal, state, and local official should hear the challenges of these policies and our veterans. So, you know, I'm not sure where the solution is, but I know plenty of people are hearing, you know, and we can put our thinking caps together and bridge these gaps. You know, maybe a simple assess what it was the prior year before, but resetting anyone's clock when they're just days away from qualifying, especially when it's I mean, Alex, he's not going to promote himself, but you know, he was an enlisted personnel and he became a commissioned officer. That he had to go to training. He flies Blackhawks now. We're all very proud of him. But there's no reason for his clock to be reset, you know. That's a benefit he's earned. And somewhere between here and there, we should be able to find a solution. Like I said, maybe just assessing what the property was before the next calendar year shows up. But anyways, it's good that we hear it from people that it actually affects, that we're trying to have these benefits work for, instead of just another public official or just a citizen who doesn't happen to be a veteran and working through these challenges of having a disabled family member. So other than that, it was, and to get them a part of the program, part of their local and state government too as well. So to me, it was a win-win, and I encourage everybody to come be a part of their local government. Thank you.
Next.
I have a question of
Yes, go ahead, Commissioner Edwards.
would you know, does it say in some regulation that it has to be consecutive months or total months?
I can't provide that answer at this point, Commissioner.
I don't have it. I don't have that with me, so.
Yeah. I will have to research what the assessor office has. Yeah, I will do that.
Okay, next, John Pettit.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is John Pettit. I live in East Olympia. And I appreciate the comment, no electioneering. Now, I decided, because I know this is a big topic, this is the time of year we talk about elections, I decided to look under my Cambridge dictionary. Electioneering, the activity of trying to persuade people to vote for a particular political party or candidate. It doesn't give any reference to the fact of putting the facts on the record. And if it makes bad marks on people, then that's what it is. So on to my public comment. Elections are often decided about changing the county management as much or more than the elected officials. You as elected officials, the county commissioners, your primary job, because you have been given a long list of elements to take care of, like taking care of this courthouse. Yeah, this pathetic looking courthouse that hasn't been maintained in years. Okay? It's your job to manage the managers. If you fail to manage the managers and they don't get the job done, you're the ones that get fired. That's the way it works. We have a list of more things, but I want to read a couple little bit of parts here I put. People don't care if an elected official is a Democrat or Republican or independent. People are not looking for leaders. They're looking for public servants. The people want to have representative government. That provides them the right of decisions regarding taxation, property rights, and services they want from their government. It's not yours. It's the people's government. You guys act like as though you're the gods over the county. That's got to stop. Yes, we do have one particular commissioner up for election, and that is a consideration that people in the county have to consider. Is this person managing the manager? Is he giving direction to the management to follow up and follow the laws? Or is he being managed by the manager? Is he a yes man? Whatever you say, Mr. Manager, you have authority over me. He has no authority. He has the same authority as the janitor in the building, with the exception of what you choose to give him. And you have done a tremendously bad job of managing the manager. We will be talking about that a little further, but I'm going to compare one more thing here. You may have heard the concept of too many cooks will ruin the broth. You have 3 cooks here. All 3 of you, in theory, are putting something into this broth, this soup that you're making. But you know what? You can be the nicest individual person in the world. In fact, I'm going to tell you, I like all of you as individuals, but the nicest person in the world can be a horrible, horrible commissioner. The nicest person in the world can be a horrible, horrible cook. Sometimes we have to get people out of positions they don't belong in if they don't have the capabilities of doing it. I happen to be lucky. I have a great wife that's a great cook. But if you fail to manage the managers, you fail as commissioners. If you can't handle that job, you need to get out of the position. Thank you.
Next, I have Terry Ballard.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Terry Ballard. I'm a 35-year veteran, 19 years, 7 months active duty. I reside in Tanglewild, 2 properties in Tanglewild, 1 in Olympia, and and I'm a Washingtonian. I was born here. I'm here to talk about the Veterans Fund before I talk about his situation. Okay, this is a crime. I know some, but not all, minus Mr.
Excuse me, I just noticed the button, and I think Mr. Pettis also have. That is, point of order, it has.
Calling us infringing on personal rights. You decide right now if you want to take that off.
Madam Chair.
It's a bumper sticker. I'm wearing it.
It's advertising.
Please.
Yeah, it's advertising.
I can't wear a shirt or can't wear a button, huh?
Can we please be respectful?
Can I continue without interruption now?
Sir, can you please take off the button?
No, I will not. I'm here to talk about the Veterans Fund.
Sir, please. I'm
You may,
going to ask the board on how to proceed.
yeah, you may want to recess until they can push it.
I'm going to say take it up with the prosecuting attorney at a later date. I just don't want the.
That's fine, let him proceed.
Okay. So the board has said that they will take this up with the prosecuting attorney at a later date. So we will be following up with them.
Couple more seconds on the clock should be, I'm here to talk about the Veterans Fund.
Mr. Ballard, we'll reset your timer. If you'll reset the timer.
Thank you. Here to talk about the Veterans Fund. You spent $52K on salary, spent $19K on interfund transfers, spent $18K on personal benefits. You spend over $90,000 on just personnel and lodging, but then again, you pay $30,000 for the entire rent of the Veterans Fund going to the hub. Why is that? The Veterans Fund is an individual fund. It's not rent. It's not, it's for veteran services, veterans individual services. The man over here needs help, okay? You can help him with the Veterans Fund, but your constraints are so constrained, nobody can draw from it. unless somebody else cheats, like designs a program that the veterans have already in place. And his name is Mr. Mark Miner. If I was a homeless veteran, I could call this number right here. You had the cards in your lobby in there. You could call this Veterans Fund. The person can be taken off the street. The person can get help. The person can get mental help, all on the dime of the federal government, VA, okay? So all he needs to do is be a veteran, okay? You have veterans going to the homeless fund, okay? Going to the shelter. These are not veterans. These are not honorary serving veterans, but you can make that appropriation as well. You're not helping veterans. You're helping homeless. And homeless, what is your how many veterans have you taken off the street this month? How many? No, we house them, we food them, so they can supplement their drug addiction. And I had a prosecuting attorney stand up here and say we can't prosecute people for illegal drugs or possession. How are we going to get these people off the street? Okay? Oh yeah, we can pay Olympia all their taxes and they can continue to induce the homeless. Okay? But how many people? I bet you the coroner has better statistics to take veterans and homeless off the street. Okay? What is your success rate? You don't have one. All these charities, I get all these charities, okay? They might have it at heart, but all these charities, like the Hub, you're paying salary, you're paying rent, you're paying a lot more than what you're paying here. But you're paying here more in personnel and benefits and housing for veterans, and housing for veterans in shelters. You spent $124,000 on the individual fund, but 30 of that goes to the Veterans Fund for rent. And I had a mayor of Lacey stand up there and say the Veterans Fund will come out of the Lacey Fund forever. So why is he taking $30,000 for the Veterans Fund? Okay, this is quite something. Now, to finish with this soldier here, okay, that's a state law, okay? I'm part of the Veterans Legislative Coalition for the state of Washington. That's a state law. That's mandated by state law of the salary, of the benefit of a 100% veteran, disabled veteran. That's established by law. But can you help him? Sure, you can help him. It's with this Veterans Fund. I don't know what you're doing.
Sir, your time is up.
Okay, it's other than not supporting veterans.
Anyone else in the boardroom would like to provide testimony at this time? We'll move on to Zoom.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. I will probably try to call. First thing I have on my screen is, I believe his last name, Sprague. Would you like to provide testimony this afternoon? Next, I have Mr. Colin Peoples.
I am here for the public hearing. So.
Okay, it starts at 3:30.
Yep.
Next, I have Ms. Jan Lin.
I'm here for the public hearing as well.
Okay, thank you. I believe that will conclude public testimony, Madam Chair.
Next is county manager's update.
I don't have any specific updates for you this afternoon.
Okay. Questions, Commissioner Edwards?
The only thing I'd like to say at this point is thank you to Alex for his service to our country. I forgot to say that. So, thank you.
Questions, Commissioner Menser?
No, just to say that the county manager's update, which today would be about previous items, will, I'm sure, in the next
Yes.
time or two be related to today's comment that we heard. We'll have follow-up.
Yeah, I will follow up on that comment.
Once we can check in with the assessor. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, we'll move on to consent items. We have matters 3A through 3G. Is there a motion?
I move to approve consent items 3A through 3G.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and second. This is a non-debatable motion. I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Menser?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Motion passes.
Can you take the conversation outside the boardroom, please?
Moving on to department items, moving in with the auditor's office, items 4A, approval of the voucher list.
Thank you, Madam Chair, for your consideration this afternoon is to approve the voucher list for the week of August 29, 2022 for a combined amount of $8,218,362.33. Under normal circumstances, these items are your consent agenda. The reason as to why this is a department item is because on pages 1 and 2, there's payments related to the atrium for a total amount of $8,838.05.
Any discussion or any questions? Commissioner Edwards?
No, ma'am.
Commissioner Menser?
No.
I'm ready for a motion, sir.
I move to approve the voucher list for the week of August 29th, 2022 for a combined amount of $8,218,362.33.
I'll second the motion. It's been moved and second. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Nay.
Commissioner Menser?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Moving on to emergency services, item 5A, intergovernmental EMS contracts for paramedical services.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I'm Ben Miller-Todd, the Interim Assistant Director for Thurston County Emergency Services. After negotiations regarding paramedic services throughout Thurston County with 3 different agencies, the City of Olympia, the City of Tumwater, and Lacey Fire District 3, we came to the following agreement. Negotiated contract services would span 3 years with the option to renew 2 additional years, so 23 to 25. The expanded services incorporate additional paramedics, which are 3.5 additional paramedics into the system in order to reduce mandatory overtime, paramedic burnout, and staffing shortages felt between all 3 agencies. Additionally, we increased the funding for EMT to paramedic training within those agencies due to rising costs associated with paramedic training and increased difficulty in backfilling paramedics in training. And lastly, we negotiated some cost-saving measures incorporating clarification in disability and insurance language within the contract. With that, the ALS contracts were voted for recommendation to the Board of County Commissioners for approval by the EMS Council unanimously on September 21st, 2022. And we are asking to move to authorize the Emergency Services Director or their designee to help to authorize the execution of these contracts. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Commissioner Edwards?
No questions. It is by vote of the EMS board, it's been said unanimously, but I think it's always proper to recognize the service that these first responders are supplying to us on a regular basis. And, you know, during this whole virus thing, everybody was under the gun. And I just want to express my thank you to that group for their continued service through tough times and right up into normalcy, I hope.
Thank you. Commissioner Menser?
No, nothing.
Okay. Yeah, I'll echo what Commissioner Edwards says. You know, he sits on the EMS. He's a representative for the EMS board. So definitely thankful. I know Commissioner Messmer had first-hand experience with the Yakima paramedic services. So he definitely, you know, gives props to Thurston County Emergency Services and their paramedics anytime he can. But I'm ready for a motion, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. I move to authorize the Emergency Services Interim Director to execute the 2023-2025 contracts, and any amendments do not exceed 10% for paramedic services with the cities of Olympia and Tumwater and Thurston County Fire District 3 of Lacey.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Menser?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Motion passes. Item 5B, approval of professional services contract amendment number 2 with Olympia Emergency Services.
Good afternoon again, Commissioners. Just briefly, the MPD demands have been steadily increasing for the past 7 years, just due to system growth from a combination of factors. We've had a growing population, a growing workforce, and honestly, increasingly complex patients and the patient population that takes more oversight from more physician oversight. This expansion of the medical program director contract for Thurston County expands out to a medical program director delegate, allowing for us to staff one extra day each week in support of the medical program director. With that being said, this expansion has been approved unanimously again by the EMS Council on September 21st, 2022, and increases the dollar figure from $129,000 in the original contract for an additional $94,792.32, totaling a total contract value moving forward of $224,572.32. With that, do you have any questions?
Questions, Commissioner Edwards?
No questions. Thank you, Ben.
Questions, Commissioner Mensah?
No, I've gone over this with Ben multiple times.
No questions for me as well. I'm ready for a motion.
Move to approve professional services contract amendment number 2 with Olympia Emergency Services and authorize the Emergency Services Interim Director to execute the amendment and any amendments that do not exceed 10% for Medical Program Director and MPD Delegate Services with OES.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Mensah?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Motion passes. Moving on to information technology, item 6A, renewal of Javs maintenance. Dennis?
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Dennis Osorio, IT Director. I'm here seeking approval to renew our Javs, which is Justice Audiovisual Solution, licensing and maintenance for the amount of $88,341.59. That's the yearly amount for up to 5 years. We've made a very large investment in the Javs system. It's through all of our courts and everyone uses it. This is just the annual maintenance and license renewal. The amount is already in our budget and it's collected through interdepartmental rates. Any questions?
Questions, Commissioner Edwards?
No questions. We've went over this quite a bit. Thank you very much, Dennis.
Questions, Commissioner Mensah?
No.
Okay, I'm ready for a motion.
I move to approve the renewal of the Javs contract for current service extension and authorize the Information Technology Director to pay the Javs maintenance in the amount of $88,341.59 and any amendments that do not exceed 10% for up to 5 years.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Mensah?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Motion passes. Public Works, item 7A, approve County Road Administration Board Rural Arterial Program Grant Application, Tilly Road South and Old Highway 99 Southeast. And Marcus?
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Marcus Dorvick, Senior Civil Engineer with Public Works. The County Road Administration Board has requested submittals of projects for the Rural Arterial Program grant funding cycle of 2023 to 2025. Staff has prepared 2 grant applications. This particular agenda item will cover the first application, which is for Tilly Road South and Old Highway 99 Southeast in the amount of $2,100,000. Improvements funded through this grant would include 1.4 miles of road reconstruction, widening and paving of the shoulders, upgrading drainage to current standards, an addition of 200 feet of left turn lane, horizontal realignment, and removal of roadside hazards. Completion of this project will provide additional safety for the more than 1,200 daily roadway users, as well as add longer lifespan of the roadway. The estimated total project cost is $2,645,000, with the remaining costs funded by the County Road Fund. This project is in the 2022 to 2027 Transportation Improvement Program and Public Works Capital Improvement Plan, and is in alignment with the county's Strategic Plan Initiative Number 8 to support robust and well-maintained infrastructures for a thriving community. Are there any questions?
Questions, Commissioner Edwards?
No questions, thank you.
Commissioner Mensah?
No.
Okay, I'm ready for a motion.
I move to approve County Road Administration Board Rural Arterial Program grant application for Tilly Road South and Old Highway 99 Southeast in the amount of $2,100,000.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Menzer?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Motion passes. Next, item 7B, approve County Road Administration Board Rural Arterial Program Grant Application, 113th Avenue and McCorkle Road Southeast.
Marcus Dorvick, Senior Civil Engineer with Public Works. This next agenda item is related to the previous item just discussed. This is our second grant application for the Rural Arterial Program, and it is for 113th Avenue / McCorkle Road between Tilley Road South and Old Highway 99 Southeast in the amount of $1,100,000. Improvements funded through this grant would include 2.5 miles of road reconstruction, widening and paving of the shoulders, upgrading drainage to current standards, and removal of roadside hazards. Completion of this project will provide additional safety for the more than 1,200 daily roadway users, as well as add to the lifespan of the roadway. The estimated total project cost is $3,750,000, with the remaining costs funded by the County Road Fund. This project is in the 2022 to 2027 Transportation Improvement Program and Public Works Capital Improvement Plan, and is in alignment with the county's Strategic Plan number 8 to support robust and well-maintained infrastructure systems for a thriving community. Are there any questions?
Questions, Commissioner Edwards?
No, ma'am.
Questions, Commissioner Menzer?
No.
I don't have any questions. I'm ready for a motion.
Move to approve County Road Administration Board Rural Arterial Program Grant Application for 113th Avenue, McCorkle Road Southeast in the amount of $1,100,000.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Menzer?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye, motion passes. Next is contract award for Kennedale Park Restroom Replacement Project, CP number 51099. And Keaton?
Yes, good afternoon, Commissioners. Keaton Forbes Kashani, Associate Civil Engineer with Thurston County Public Works. Public Works is requesting contract award for the Kennedale Park Restroom Replacement Project, County Project number 51099, to NICO Construction, LLC of Tumwater, Washington, in the amount of $688,262.29, and to authorize the Director of Public Works to execute the contract and any change orders for this project due to unforeseen conditions only, for up to 10% of the contract. That's $68,826.23, or an aggregate total of $757,088.52. On September 1st, 2022, a total of 3 bids were received to construct the Kennedale Park Restroom Replacement Project. Bids were received in response to advertisements in the Olympian and the Daily Journal of Commerce, and posted on the Builders Exchange of Washington website. The low responsive bid was from NICO Construction, with a bid of $688,262.29. This project will construct a 6-stall, commercial-grade, vandal-resistant restroom. The current restroom is outdated, does not meet ADA standards, and is susceptible to vandalism. The new restroom will reduce maintenance needs, address additional capacity with additional ADA restroom stalls, and meet ADA compliance standards. In addition to the replacement of the restroom, an ADA parking stall will be constructed, additional LED lighting installed, and 306 square feet of sidewalk replaced. This project is consistent with our Parks and Trails development strategy to invest in projects that increase capacity and reduce maintenance of existing facilities. The total project construction costs, including contract award, construction management, and Parks and Trails administrative costs, is estimated to be $850,000 and is funded entirely with the Parks impact fees and REACH 2 funds. This project is in the 2022 through 2023 Public Works budget, the 2022 through 2027 Capital Improvement Plan, and is in alignment with the county's Strategic Plan Initiative 7 to balance development with the preservation of the county's rural character, natural areas, and open spaces, and Initiative 8 to support robust and well-maintained infrastructure systems for a thriving community. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions, Commissioner Edwards?
No questions, thank you.
Questions, Commissioner Menzer?
No.
Okay, I'm ready for a motion.
I move to award the contract for the Kennedale Park Restroom Replacement Project, CP 51099, to NYCO Construction LLC of Tumwater, Washington, in the amount of $688,262.29, and to authorize the Director of Public Works to execute the contract and any change orders for this project due to unforeseen conditions only, not for changes in scope, for up to 10% of the contract, $68,826.23, or an aggregate total of $757,088.52.
Second.
So moved and seconded. Any discussion? I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Menzer?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Motion passes. Then our last action item is contract award for Chehalis Western Trail 41st Avenue Trailhead Access and Parking Project, CP number 51006.
Yes, Commissioners, Public Works, Kevin Forbes Kashani here again. Public Works is requesting contract award for the contract for the Chehalis Western Trail 41st Avenue Trailhead Access and Parking Project to J.H. Kelly, LLC of Longview, Washington, in the amount of $341,832.96, and to authorize the Director of Public Works to execute the contract and any change orders for this project due to unforeseen conditions only, for up to 10% of the contract, $34,183.30, or an aggregate total of $376,016.26. On September 1st, 2022, a total of 11 bids were received to construct the Chehalis Western Trail 41st Avenue Trailhead Access and Parking Project, CP 51006. Bids were received in response to advertisements in the Olympian and Daily Journal of Commerce and posted on the Builders Exchange of Washington website. The low responsive bid was received from J.H. Kelly, LLC of Longview, Washington, with a total bid of $341,832.96. This project will construct a 19-stall asphalt parking lot accessed by a driveway from 41st Avenue Northeast. The addition of this parking lot will allow off-street parking and safe access to the trail for users. The trail will be connected to the parking lot via an asphalt pedestrian walkway. Also incorporated in this project is a lockable gate for the driveway, storm drainage with a drainage pond, and additional landscaping improvements. The total project construction costs, including contract award and construction management, is anticipated to approximately be $430,000, which is within the current approved budget of $440,000 from the Parks Impact Fees and REAP 2 funds. This project is in the 2022 through 2023 Public Works budget, the 2021 Capital Improvement Plan, and is in alignment with the county's strategic plan, Initiative 7, to balance development with the preservation of the county's rural character, natural areas, and open spaces, and Initiative 8 to support robust and well-maintained infrastructure systems for a thriving community. Please let me know if you have any questions.
Questions, Commissioner Edwards?
No questions.
Commissioner Menzer? I'm ready for a motion.
I move to award the contract for the Chehalis Western Trail 41st Avenue Trailhead Access and Parking Project, CP number 51006, to J.H. Kelly, LLC of Longview, Washington, in the amount of $341,832.96, and to authorize the Director of Public Works to execute the contract and any change orders for this project due to unforeseen conditions only, not for changes in scope, for up to 10% of the contract, which would be $34,183.30, or an aggregate of $376,016.26.
Second.
So moved and seconded. Any discussion? I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Menzer?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Motion passes. Moving on to County Manager, item 8A, Commissioners will report on board work sessions and assigned committee meetings, providing updates on actions taken as well as upcoming issues. Commissioner Edwards, we'll start with you.
Nothing really of serious consequence that the board's going to be dealing with right away, but we've had some new ownership, over at the Multicare Capital Medical Center. And I'm looking forward to that group becoming really involved. It's a nonprofit now, and we had a good presentation over at the EDC board about that. The administration board for communications, Chaplains Association for Public Service, a breakfast in which those folks are responding to the needs of our first responders. And that's really about it for my committees. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Menzer.
Attended Salmon Recovery Council all day last Thursday in Kingston. Had meeting with the new leadership at the Evergreen State College about issues of concern with the county. Attended the Tumwater Falls Fest on Saturday. Attended the county's racial equity training session last week. Attended the WASAC virtual assembly with speakers from Healthcare Authority yesterday. And that's about it, other than my normal committees and assignments.
Thank you. I attended the RHC meeting, so we will be having a presentation, I believe, pretty soon on that. I did a tour of the resource hub and met with staff over there, and they gave me the rundown on how it's been going these past 3 months since they opened. I've been having several meetings in regards to the airport proposal from the CACC, and meeting with constituents on a variety of different matters. The county manager will now review the Board of County Commissioners schedule for the week of October 4th, 2022.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I will walk you through the combined schedule where at least 2 commissioners will be present. You may have individual appointments on your individual calendars. Those will not be part of my report. Beginning today at 3:30, you have 2 public hearings, one related to speed limit revisions on some county roadways, followed by a public hearing related to the Development Code docket item 8A8, that's related to the Habitat Conservation Plan implementation of ordinances. You have also been invited this afternoon, if you have time after the public hearings, to attend the Nat and Thelma Jackson Mosaic and Goose Pond Historic Market dedication, and that is going to be held at the Lacey Community Center, located at 6729 Pacific Avenue Southeast in Lacey. Tomorrow, Wednesday, October 5th, is from 9 to 4:15, budget presentations. You will have breaks in the morning as well as a break at lunch, followed by Thursday, October 6th, the same budget presentations from 9 to 4:15. And again, there will be breaks in the morning, afternoon, as well as in lunch. And Friday, October 7th, from 9 to 4:15, also budget presentations with breaks in between. We may not go all the way to 4:15 on Friday the 7th, but we'll see how the conversation goes. You have also been invited to participate on Saturday, October 8th at 10 in the morning to the Thurston Conservation District Harvest Festival, and that is going to be located in the South Union Grange Hall. Moving on to Monday, October 10th. At noon, you have the Washington State Association of Counties standing meeting, as well as, I believe, Commissioner Edwards and Commissioner Mejia may be attending the Kiwanis meeting. Tuesday, October 11th, 9 in the morning, you have your regular agenda setting, followed by the afternoon at 2 o'clock, the Board of County Commissioners. At 3:30, you have your Board of Health meeting. And at 5 in the afternoon on October 11th, you have been asked to participate in the South Puget Sound Community College Bowen Center for Health Education Grant Opening, and that's going to be located in the South Puget Sound Community College campus here in the Mudman area. That's all I have for you. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, we'll go ahead and take our recess, and we will resume at 3:30 p.m. Thank you.